Time to make the donut.
Well, it's the end of the year. Holidays are wrapping up, diets have been freshly ruined, and it's cold as all hell outside. The perfect time to sit back, relax, make a short little video, and drink iced coffee, because I'm from New England and this is what's in my veins instead of blood. Yeah, coffee's really important where I come from. Though, when I say coffee, I mostly mean Dunkin' Donuts. As it turns out, the coffee wars are highly territorial. For many decades now, there has been endless coffee competition in the US, as everyone fights to gain your patronage on your drive to work. The big chains like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, the fast food chains like McDonald's and Taco Bell, and the many hundreds of local coffee houses, cafes, and donut shops. All of them fighting to be the very best. While Starbucks appears to be winning this fight across the United States, in New England, the Dunkin' faithful hold their ground. There are more of these than people here. I once saw 3 of them in my line of sight at the same time. There are more than 1,000 Dunkin' Donuts locations in Massachusetts alone. It is not surprising, considering this is their home turf, but it is alarming. That said, we get our coffee from anyone who will sell it to us around here, and a laundry list of regional chains have managed a comfortable existence in Dunkin's wake. With one big Canadian exception. Just north of New England lies another major coffee chain, with just as much cultural significance. In fact, it might not be possible to get more Canadian than this. It was literally founded by a hockey player. So let's go to Canada then.
Okay, now what?
Tim Hortons is without a doubt the Canadian answer to Dunkin' Donuts. They inspire the same sort of regional pride in their customers. They also have a cute name for their donut holes, and honestly, their general vibe is just very similar. They partner with local sports teams, they have similar promotions, they both got into cereal for a bit. The perfect pair. What makes this interesting then is that Tim Hortons decided to make their way into the US through the 80s and 90s. Timmy's American campaign began at the border and worked its way inward, where they eventually found themselves in the Midwest and in New England. The thing about coffee, though, is that it tends to be a game of customer loyalty. Your coffee shop might be a place you visit every single morning, and the data reflects this. A 2021 study of Starbucks customers found that more than 1/5 of customers returned within 3 days, and 1/10 within 1. The 2022 Foursquare Quick Service Loyalty Index places Starbucks and Dunkin' as the 2nd and 3rd spots. Tim Hortons is in 11th. All this is to say, it's hard breaking into a market as saturated with a competitor as New England is to Dunkin'. Especially when, as I said, the two chains are very similar, and unlike Starbucks, which uses its focus on espresso drinks and upscale brand identity as a differentiator, Tim's had nothing but novelty to offer. And novelty fades. Tim Hortons spent years fighting to compete in what is possibly the most competitive market in all of America, which I commend them for, but ultimately they realized the stores just weren't doing well enough and decided to exit the southern New England market in 2010.
On Veterans Day, hundreds of veterans of Tim Hortons restaurants are now unemployed, let go, after the company decided to shut down its operations in New England.
I grew up with the Tim Hortons directly across the street from my nearest Dunkin' Donuts. I liked it a lot, but they stopped serving breakfast at 11, which felt sacrilegious because Dunkin' would happily sell me a breakfast sandwich at 7 p.m. Maybe they deserved to go. A casualty of the New England coffee scene. Press F, everybody. But this is the part where it gets funny. As it happens, the same exact thing happened in reverse a little while later. Dunkin' Donuts had been in Canada as far back as the 70s, with a few hundred locations across the country. I would consider them more successful in their invasion, but unfortunately competing with Tim Hortons in Canada is no easy feat, for the exact same reasons as the opposite. Over the years, the franchise dwindled in sales and relevance, eventually cutting down to just tens of stores, then just a few, and then finally, in 2018, the very last Canadian Dunkin' closed its doors, ceding the territory to its rightful champion. I'm sure at least one person was upset. So why are we so loyal to our local coffee chains? Is it the ritual of the thing, or do those rewards programs just work really well? Well, I can't speak for anyone who wasn't born near the birthplace of a major chain that happens to have its hooks in the entire surrounding area, but to me, I do feel a connection to Dunkin' Donuts. It reminds me of home. Today, Tim Hortons continues its sporadic presence in the US, mostly concentrated around the border and the Midwest, which, let's admit it, is America's Canada. Dunkin' holds its iron grip on New England and spends its free time competing with the siren across the country. And in between, 1,000 local shops do their best to carve out a niche. I only just learned that donut cake isn't a common thing. There's only one donut shop in Rhode Island that makes it. I need to show you this so you can feel jealous. I don't know, I just find it really funny that both of these companies tried to intrude on each other's space, only to fail in the exact same way. It says a lot about society. Just not anything important. Let's wrap up. And that's it for 2023. I think it was a pretty good year. My channel grew a lot, I worked a job I really like, I met some amazing people, and I got to drink this coffee that's been sitting in my fridge for like a week. Got some big plans for next year. I'm working on some videos I think you're really gonna like. But until then, the next time you wake up before noon, I would recommend checking out a new coffee shop. See what's out there. See you guys next year.
I'm just kind of puzzled because I was told I was going to be in this video and I kind of need it for Christmas presents this year. My agent told me I was going to be in this video. And I don't know, I think I know some things about coffee. One sec. Oh, it's hot. American Runs though, am I right? Anyway, can I just be in the next one, please?